Hello, so this is an update on the problems I've been having with Battlefield 4 since launch. I watched a video by X Factor which went into details on how to adjust your settings to maximize the FPS.
Quite a bit of input lag.
And while it was useful, it did cause yet more problems with the game. I discovered that playing around with your settings is quite dangerous if you run AMD cards. So I've jumped onto the test area so I can have a look at the settings without sitting around in a game. So I'll have a look at gameplay, and the setting I've changed in here is the smoothing factor, as that's one of the things that X Factor recommended to reduce to either 10 or 0. Now in video settings I've got my resolution set to the same as my monitor at 120 Hz. Field of view, that's the standard 70 because I've reset the settings recently. And I tend to run graphic quality medium when I'm recording or graphic quality high when I'm just playing. It isn't actually high, it's auto. Now I tried customizing the settings, but this ambient occlusion setting, which X Factor said turn off, that caused real problems on my AMD card, to the fact that the game would crash in between loading levels. I'd get a red screen come up and that would be it. In fact, it reset my PC. So something in the AMD cards really doesn't like the ambient occlusion settings on Battlefield 4. This is their test thing and it doesn't work at all. I can't get it to do anything. It always comes up 0 and says my PC is really bad. So I'm hoping that's a common problem. I tried playing around with the resolutions and dropping the hertz, but that didn't do anything. So now I'm pretty much using the standard medium settings for recording, so it's a bit faster while I'm running fraps, and auto, which sets everything to the same as the high settings. I dropped motion blur because I don't like it, and I increased the field of view to 90 because that's what I tend to run most games at. The screen adjust basically just lets you reduce the screen area, so don't play around with that. Another piece of advice that's on the forums and the BF4 website is to update Punkbuster. So you simply go to the website and download PB Setup, which is the setup utility for Punkbuster for all games, and click Add Game, select Battlefield 4, add game again, and it will download the latest version of Punkbuster for you. So I've sped that up a bit because their server's a bit slow, and that's it. There's nothing else you need to do, no setup. It just downloads this latest version of Punkbuster. For some reason Battlefield doesn't automatically update Punkbuster when it does its update. I'm not sure why, but this should fix any problems that you can have with Punkbuster. So I also created a user config file because that's one of the things that X Factor recommended, and that's in your Battlefield 4 directory. You have to create it. So I created it in Notepad, and Battlefield 4 is in Origin Games in your programs directory. The thing to look out for when you create it in Notepad is make sure it doesn't come out as .cfg.txt, which it might do. So there's just 2 lines of code in the user config, which I copied from a forum. The top one puts the current FPS in the top right hand corner, and the bottom one caps my FPS to 120, so I'm not processing more than my monitor can show. So this is some in-game footage with those settings, and as you can see my FPS in the top right hand corner ranges from 60 to about 90. Now I'm not sure why, but it never drops below 60, which I assume is something I've done in the settings. Now I've picked this little clip because you can see there's lots of smoke effects and there's a long view distance. This is recorded in high with fraps running. So without fraps running I get between about 80 and 110 FPS. So I don't have a problem with FPS in the game, and the standard settings seem to work okay, swapping between high and medium. Now this clip shows one of the disconnects I get from the servers. These seem to be entirely random. I've played on Rush servers, Conquest servers, 32, 64, various nights, and it will disconnect at random when it feels like it, and I've no idea why. I'm assuming this is just a game problem. So I put around the corner and the guy's frozen, and I've disconnected from the server, but I'm still running, and what I get is that my connection has timed out. Now my internet connection is still running fine, and I've no idea why. Sometimes instead of servers timed out, I will get disconnected from EA and Origin. So that's it for this little update. Those are the things I've tried and the problems I'm having. If EA release any more patches or I find out anything else to try and fix it, then I will give you an update.